All right, boss, what all you got done to this thing?
It's a 2018 3.5 liter EcoBoost with Mishimoto intercooler replacement, Mishimoto intercooler pipes, Canadian intake, turbo smart blow-off valve, SPD 170 degree thermostat, and a Engage tuner from BCB, Bruce City Boost Tuning. They do a bunch of custom tuning, so I did a lot of data logging with them over the last several months, and they've got me hooked up with a pretty sweet tune.
So what does most of that stuff do for you? Like, what does the thermostat have to do with anything?
So the thermostat, these engines run really, really hot. It's just a natural EcoBoost thing.
Okay.
I think the factory thermostat is either like 190 or 195 or something like that. So just to get it to run a little bit cooler, I put the 170 in just to make it run just a tad bit cooler, just to give me a little bit better efficiency. The intercooler, I think if I remember the numbers were right, don't quote me on this, but they're about, I think it's 70% better air mass for airflow, and it gives me, and it dropped my intake, or my intercooler temps about 30 degrees on average. The blow-off valve, it's solid aluminum instead of the cheap plastic, so since I've got the higher boost running through the tune, it just gives me least opportunity to break things, and it's honestly more for sound and more for reliability of not busting. And then the tuner has given me, I would say, probably about 90 horsepower from when I was talking to the tuner, and about 110 pounds of torque. And then the intake is obviously, it's just a colder intake, and then the Mishimoto intercooler pipes just help prevent that heat soak, so it keeps that air a little bit cooler.
Nice. Yeah, I know this, first time I rode in this thing, heard the blow-off valve. The sucker sounds really good. And I know a lot of people have these F150s, these newer aluminum ones too, and are asking all about them, so appreciate you letting me take a ride in this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty quick for what it is.
It looks good too.
It's pretty fast for being on 34s and
yeah. What does the tire actually say as a metric size?
Yeah, it's a 275, 65, 20. So I think it comes out to like a 34 by 10.5 or something like that. It's pretty thin, pretty narrow.
Yeah, it is. I noticed it's pretty skinny. It looks good though on these stock wheels, and you don't have any issue. You don't have any spacers or anything, right?
No spacers.
Yeah, you don't have any clearance issues in the front.
No, I'm a big fan of not using spacers and being able to run the biggest tire on factory wheels with whatever leveling kit I have at the time.
Yeah, same, definitely. Even though I have spacers on mine, but
yeah,
definitely prefer not to.
We'll do a pretty good little pull on our way back. It'll be a little bit better when we don't have as much cars around us.
Yeah, it may be hard to hear on the camera, but that sucker sounds good. I definitely don't hear that as much in my truck with my bigger, like, non-VGT turbo. I kind of just, unless I really aggressively let off, it pretty much you just hear it spooling down. It doesn't really like all come out at once, but it's nice to hear. It sounds good when it does.
I think mostly what you're going to hear is your wastegates opening up, but
yeah,
I don't get any wastegate noise. It's all blow-off noise.
Yeah, I'm definitely like more of a V8 guy. I love the sound of V8, but these EcoBoosts are pretty impressive.
Well, so I had a 2011 5-liter that was absolutely amazing. Loved the truck. It ran phenomenally. It was pretty quick too. Go and do a quick pull real quick and we'll continue on. So I will say that the one thing that makes a huge difference in this truck is the 10-speed. 10-speed is...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've got a 10-speed. Look at all that. Yeah, those numbers right there.
The 10-speed keeps you in that power band all the time. You never fall out of it, which is pretty cool, because in a traditional 6-speed, you shift and you feel the lunge back into your seat, and then you're kind of building back up into that power band. And instead, with this one, it only drops about 500 to 600 RPMs, and you remain in that power band. Now, your shifts are a lot quicker, but you have more gears, so you're not running out of space really quick. So
yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like less gears is more simple, and I'm just old-fashioned with that, but it does sound cool. I've heard, like, with cars too, a lot of the newer cars that are racing, like, you just never hear them. It's not like a constant shifting. It's just like a smooth.
Yep, it's just a smooth transition throughout all the gears.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna give it a few years though before I like trust it. You know, the 2020 like Power Strokes have that 10-speed now.
Well, so this transmission was actually this is the lesser of the torque variants of the new 2020 10-speeds. Same transmission, just has a bigger torque converter and can handle a little bit more torque, obviously, because of the Power Stroke.
Gotcha.
But this is actually the same transmission that was co-developed between GM and Ford for the 2016. I think it was the 2016 ZL1. So
gotcha.
This was used in the 2016 ZL1. It became such a big hit with that car, and everybody wanted one, and it was performing so well that Ford was like, you know what? Since we co-developed it, we're putting it in everything.
There you go. So even body lift, bro?
Yeah, fuck that.
I think it's pretty beefy though.
Yeah. So now they put them in the F150s, the Expeditions, the freaking Mustangs, Rangers. I mean, you name it, they got them in everything.
Yeah, I definitely can see like they have put them in a lot of stuff, but they've got some time then, you know, for 2016. But you said this is 18.
Yeah, this is 18. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of time, you know, and it's stretched upon a lot of vehicles now that, you know, I'm a firm believer that they're not gonna put it in that many vehicles if it's gonna be a garbage transmission. You know, especially between two different car companies, between GM and Ford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't realize that they had worked together on it.
Yeah, it was a pretty big thing. You know, and I heard that the ZL1 was using it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then all of a sudden it popped up in the 2018 F150, or the 2017 F150 EcoBoost 3.5 was the very first truck to use it, and then popped up in the Mustangs, the 2018 Mustangs, and I was like, oh, I need to take a little bit harder look into this, and then that's whenever I found out that it's actually co-developed between the two, and it's actually pretty badass transmission.
So you've had the 5.0, which I think is an awesome sounding motor, like pretty, you know, good performer. But now you've got the EcoBoost. Like, what? Are you happy you switched? You know, or you missed the sound, or how you feeling? Because you had it straight, like not straight pipe, but it was pretty loud, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had the resonator deleted. I had Flowmaster 10 series on it, single in, dual out, and it had turn downs too loud for the wife, so I ended up putting tailpipes back onto it to please her. Loved the truck. The only thing is that I was having issues with it, so I ended up trading it in for this. You know, having a kid, wanting a little bit more reliable vehicle. I had 180,000 miles on that 5-liter, but it was great.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had that much on it.
Loved the truck. It was great. I've heard that the new 5 liters now, they have the dual injection system on them, just like these, and they are phenomenal vehicles. They make a lot of power. They're
What years would that be?
2018 and up have the dual injection, and they also come with a 10-speed.
Nice.
I've heard that they're great. I've raced one now that but I've obviously got more stuff done to mine. I've raced a factory one, blew it out of the water. I don't know how I would fare against one factory to factory because I never got to race one because I started doing stuff to this truck as soon as I got it. But I do miss the 5-liter some days because, you know, you do have that V8 sound. You've got the V8 power, but
yeah, I'm a big fan of the sound. You know, I know you're getting better numbers out of these trucks though.
Oh yeah, this thing,
the EcoBoost with the turbo and everything.
Yeah, this thing makes a lot better power. It does get better fuel mileage. Mm-hmm. And there's not much eco about it, but it does get better fuel mileage.
What kind of mileage are you seeing on these 275s?
Well, so with the 275s, I'm seeing about 19 to 20 on the highway. Okay. And then I'm seeing if I can keep my foot out of it, which obviously through the video you can see is a hard time to do for me. It is about 14 to 15 around town. Okay. Just really depends on, if I drive it right, I could probably get 16 around town, but I don't really drive it right.
What size were the trails you had on your 5-liter?
Those were 295.
Okay, a little bigger.
65 18s. So a little bit taller and a little bit wider. I think they came out to about 34.5s and 11 to 11.5 inch wide tire.
Gotcha. I think that was mine. All right. So how was your mileage on that thing?
The mileage on that thing actually wasn't terrible. I think I got, the only thing is I got about 16.5, 17 around town, and I got about 19 on the highway. So there wasn't a big difference between the highway and the city. This thing has a huge difference between city and highway. I think a lot of it has to do with the aero on these trucks. They have the active air dampeners in the grill that close whenever you get to highway speeds. Actually forms the air around the truck instead of going through the grill and everything.
I didn't know that. That's a fancy mess right there.
Yeah, just more things to break.
More things to break. Yep.
You know, it's not hard to replace that kind of stuff. I've already had my grill off once to replace it, so it's really not. If I got to work on it, I got to work on it. It's not a big deal to me.
Gotcha. So what do you think is the best circumstance to like really hear this thing while we're in here? Like crack a window or anything, or is
yeah,
it
you can really hear the blow off valve really well with the windows down. So we can try with the windows down. I don't know how much air noise you're gonna get.
Starting to sprinkle a little bit.
I don't care. It's not gonna face me at all. Just crack your window.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. It shouldn't be too much noise. Yeah, you can hear a lot better.
So these cabs
I'm trying to block it from the wind, but kind of. Yeah, that sounds good, man.
These cabs are really quiet on the inside, and they're really, you can't really hear much. So whenever I try to show it to any of my friends or anything like that, I try to roll the windows down every chance I get.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little walk around of this thing, but it's probably loud here next to the highway. But so you got any recommendations, like if somebody's looking for a truck, like what years and what actually mods to do, like as far as what you've done?
If you're looking for the 5 liters, I'd stay away from the 11 and 12s just because they've got a couple cylinder issues. That's what happened with mine. Ended up needing to replace the motor, but instead I replaced the whole truck. EcoBoosts, I would probably stay away from. Also 11 and 12s, first 2-year models. Had a bunch of intercooler issues. I think they I think they fixed them on some TSBs, but not every single one of them could have gotten fixed. So 13 and up for EcoBoost are good. If you've got a 13 to 7 or 13 to 16 EcoBoost, make sure you get a catch can because they're just direct injection. You don't want to build up any carbon on your valves. But with the 17s and up on the 3.5s, they're dual injected, so you've got the port injectors that are cleaning your valves, so you don't need a catch can. But honestly, the 18 is awesome. Love it.
Okay.
Makes great power. And I couldn't ask for a better truck, honestly.
And what you said you have Bilsteins. What kit is this for to fit these tires?
Yeah, I've got the Bilstein adjustable struts. They're the 5100s, I believe, or they're the 5100s or the 6112s. I can't remember which ones they are, but they are the adjustable. They've got the snap ring that you can move up and down the strut and kind of pick your ride height. I've got it set on the 1.75, and it ended up sitting pretty level. It sits a little bit of rake in the front, and I mean it's very minute.
As in, like it's a little lower in the front?
Tiny bit lower in the front, not much though.
Even with it all the way up?
Yeah, even with it all the way up. But honestly, it
looks good though.
It has a better ride than it did with factory.
That's crazy.
Like the factory ride was good, but with these Bilsteins, with it being almost level, it's better.
Okay.
And it's pretty nice. So.
You don't think I could see that, right? The tire's probably totally in the way of...
You might be able to. If I turn it all the way, you can usually get in there and see. So I'll just turn it all the way and then shut the truck off so it locks it in.
Sounds good. There's like nothing, no lighting on this thing. See if we can take a look in here. You can kind of see
see it on the other side better.
See your clearance. You got plenty of room for these things. So you got a different grill on here, right?
Yeah, I've got the sport grill.
It's an XLT with a sport grill.
Yep. The only thing I want to do next is replace the bumper with paint match bumper. So
yeah,
paint match white bumper.
Nice, man. Looks good. Yeah, those trails are super clean look on the stocks.
I know. Trying to talk me out again.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? He wants to put some aftermarket black wheels on here. I told him keep the stock ones, But y'all let me know in the comments what you think you should do. If you have any recommendations on wheels, or if you should just keep these. But yeah, I think she looks good, sounds good, pretty clean little truck. How much money do you think you got in this thing?
Probably a couple grand with aftermarket parts.
Okay.
Probably about 2,500 bucks worth of shit.
Yeah, I'd say good investment on everything. It makes a big difference. You know, it's just a XLT white truck, but I mean, these tires and what he's got done to the engine, it's pretty quick and fun. It's something, you know, worth making a video about, I think. It's something pretty cool. So appreciate y'all watching. I hope you like the truck. Let me know if you have any more advice for people as far as gears or different things or issues, or what y'all think of that 10-speed transmission. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe. Rolling around Mobile. Got the Cadillac tail light.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they'll close, and then they will open back up.
So when would you ever need those closed?
On highway speeds?
Oh, why is that? You have enough air?
Yeah, so it circulates enough air through everywhere else in the vehicle that it keeps everything cool.
Okay.
But it recirculates all the extra air around the front of the,
Gotcha.
like from the grill around the sides of the vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
It's got the ones for the intercooler.
Oh, yeah. Do these guys move too?
They do, but I unplugged them because
okay.
I want my intercooler to stay cool.
Gotcha.
I want that to stay as cool as possible. I don't ever want that to get hot.
Yeah, I don't. That's really unnecessary, but pretty neat.
But I've done tests, and it doesn't change
Okay.
the coolant temperature, whether they're open or closed.
Okay. Gotcha.
On highway speeds, it doesn't, like, the coolant temperature never changes.
Well, at least as far as it being something like, and just another thing that could break. If it breaks, it's like doesn't really affect anything. Then you just have normal.
Because you can operate them by hand. If they break, you just unplug it and then open them up, and then it's good to go.
Let me see those vents. So you got vents around the side here that just kind of directs the air out here around the wheel. That's pretty cool. Fancy stuff. What were you saying about towing with this thing? So it's pretty decent.
It's rated for 12.6, I think, is what it was rated for, or 12.2 or something like that.
Okay.
I think the heaviest thing I pulled was a 7x14 enclosed trailer that was completely loaded down with furniture, couches, piano, bed. I mean, it was like completely loaded down. So I'd probably guesstimate 6,500 pounds, maybe.
Okay.
But it didn't miss a beat. And I mean, this thing, it really actually surprised me with how well it towed for being a V6. It doesn't get any kind of fuel mileage. It gets about 10 miles to the gallon while pulling, but it does get good fuel, or it does get good power.
Okay, tows pretty well.
Yeah, it does really, really well. I mean, getting on ramps, passing people, anything like that, it doesn't miss a beat. So it's pretty nice.
Do you find it, like if you're highway speeds and you got to pass somebody or something and you get on it, does it like drop a lot of gears, or do you notice anything with that?
It does, but the computer on these things does a pretty good job of managing of what gear it needs to be in. So it selects the best gear every time. I've never had it get confused.
Yeah.
I've never had it drop a couple gears and then still need to drop a couple gears. It does pretty freaking well at gear selection, and it's super quick.
Okay.
For how many gears it is really, really fast with shifting gears.
Solid. Well, yeah, thanks for showing it to me. It's good talking to you, dude. I'll see you at work.
Yeah, man.
And she looks good. I'll let you know when the video's up.
Sounds good, dude.